the tune for this.
All right, we are live for another Thursday's Top Tips in Real Estate. We have amazing local realtors here with us today and lenders. And we always talk about a new topic each week, and it's always filled with such amazing information. I'm so thankful for the professionals that come on here and share their big brains with us each week. I hope you guys have been tuning in, and if you're here for the first time, welcome. Today's topic is going to be a pretty interesting one, at least in my opinion. I mean, everything in real estate is so interesting, right? So today's topic is home improvements. Yay or nay? Should you be doing them as a buyer? Is that something that you want to be looking into? Or even as a seller, like, is that something that you should be doing before selling your house? There's so many things to go over about it. I think it's going to be a really great discussion. We run this meeting every week in 3 parts. So the first part, we always talk about the topic of the week. And then the second portion, we have our #1 top tip of the week in real estate, because it's always changing, ever changing. And then the third portion is any announcements or anything that's coming up, it's just always great and filled with information. So we hope you guys will stay on, and you guys are always welcome to watch the replay on our YouTube channel, Arrow Title Services. My name is Lucie McGuire with Arrow Title Services, if that wasn't obvious enough, but thank you guys again for coming on. So let's get right into this hot topic, home improvements. We've got Peter Negron up first.
Hey guys, my name is Peter Negron. I'm with Barron Real Estate, and today we're going to be talking about home improvements. Now, I think the most important, especially right now, the way that the market is moving right now, is making sure that the improvement that you do is really worth it on the back end. So the last thing you want to do is be doing a home improvement that costs you $7,000, but it's only really going to yield you like $3,000 at the closing table. Now, if you planned on staying in your home for a certain amount of time and you wanted to spend that kind of money on your home and really believe that it's something that you could live in for a couple of years and feel good about, then that's a whole different story. But if you're looking to put your home on the market within the next month or couple of months, you really want to start looking at how much it's going to cost you compared to how much you're going to yield back from it at closing. Now, for example, if you wanted to redo your roof because it's 18 years old and it's a little wavy and yeah, it's keeping all the water out, but it doesn't really look well and somebody can see that as soon as they walk up to your property, I would say yes. Really think about getting your roof done, because the amount of money it costs to actually repair your roof compared to how much you'll yield back from it at closing is actually a lot more than what it would cost. So you want to really make sure that you think about that on the back end, especially if you plan on closing within the next few months. On the other token, if you plan on doing tile throughout the whole house and the flooring in the house is just fine the way that it is, it's totally livable. There's nothing, that stands out that's dangerous, then you should really probably think twice, because you may have to do, $12,000 worth of tile in your house, depending on your preference. And then in the back end, it might yield you a few $1,000s at the closing table. So really speak with your realtor. If you already have a contractor that you're working with to do repairs on the house, speak with your contractor, get some quotes, and kind of go back and forth about it and see exactly what it is that you're looking to get at the end of your sale. Now, one of the things that people don't really think about are putting solar panels on your home. Solar panels are a really effective way to bring up the property value, and in some cases, up to $50,000 putting solar panels on your home. Making sure that you have the warranty and everything else in tow, but just really make sure that when you do repairs on your home, that you really take in consideration what it is that you're trying to yield back from that at the closing table. And if you closing your home is in the back end of your mind and you just want to do it because you feel good about having a brand new kitchen, hey, by all means, go ahead and redo your kitchen, because the last thing you want to do is be living in a house that you don't really want, right? So really think about that. Get with your real estate professionals, get with your contractors, make sure you're getting all those quotes together. Really make a good, decisive decision about what it is that you're going to want to do moving forward.
Love that. Great information, Peter. Great way to start off the conversation. All right. And then next we have Katey Bourgeois. What do you have to add to this conversation?
Lucy, thank you. Thank you for hosting, and thank you for giving us this platform to inform the buyers and sellers out there in the market right now with the most relevant information. So kudos to you and Arrow Title Services. My name is Katey Bourgeois with the Bourgeois Real Estate Group. Peter, you made some really good points. So I have some notes and you hit some of them. So definitely call your local real estate expert. If you are going to make any improvements to the property that you just purchased, or improvements to a property that you want to maybe sell. Peter talked about the return on your investment, what you're going to yield as far as selling side. I would encourage you to also consider the return on enjoyment, like he talked about. So the return on enjoyment can be, your personal enjoyment of having that new kitchen or new bathroom to enjoy while you're living in the property, and then eventually getting a return on your investment when you go to sell, upgrade, downgrade, whatever, to right size for the property that you need in the future. And also your return on enjoyment can also mean a financial gain. And in the process of on the selling side, it is a case-by-case scenario. We talked a little bit about this on our Monday gathering, talking about specifically to sellers. In order to get tip-top dollar for your property, you need it to be in tip-top shape. And cosmetic versus deferred maintenance, really identifying where those potential problems might be. A really good way to assess this is to get a pre-listing inspection. Talk to a home inspector, go through some of those details so that you know what you're getting into, and fix those things like a busted roof if you need to, so that a buyer coming in will give you big dollars for those big improvements. If you just bought a home and you want to get some return on enjoyment for the life that you're living in that home, it's going to be a case-by-case scenario. You don't want to over improve your property for the neighborhood. So each situation deserves a good assessment. And I would encourage you, again, call your local real estate expert, any of the individuals on this call. And if they can't help you, they'll refer you to somebody who can. You got to define what your goals are going to be, a budget, if any, and really look at what you have now versus what you want. Again, I can't say it enough times. If you want tip-top dollar for your property, we need to have it in tip-top shape. And we've got to watch the market, see what's happening. And, there is a big difference between cosmetic and deferred maintenance items. So kind of a couple of my tips today. So I'll hand it back over to you, Lucy.
Awesome. Great tips. And you brought up a lot of really important parts in the pre-listing inspection. Oh, what a big one. A lot of sellers, I feel like, don't invest in that to learn what's actually wrong with their property, or, could have slight improvements with. So
you might as well get it out in the air early. We're going to find those problems.
Exactly. And, then it saves time in the process as well, because if you already have that pre-listing inspection, you can give that to the buyer and they have the option to choose whether they want to go with that or not. So it could save them money and they might like that. Codi, you're up next. What you got to share with us?
Hello, folks. Codi with Bourgeois Real Estate Group. All the points have been hit already. I mean, basically, you have to decide what your goals are. If you're trying to sell a house, I would say you have to look at the values, how much equity you have in that house, and what you're spending. If what you're spending is if you're going to yield that from the sale. So, I mean, I would say you would probably need to correct any necessity or anything that's going to inhibit safety. You really don't want to spend a bunch of money just to, make something look nice, especially if you're not going to yield anything back. And like Katey said, I mean, if you're buying a house and you have to look at, you know, the enjoyment. You know, if you're trying to make these changes based on, you have to decide whether you're making these changes based on your enjoyment or based on if you're looking to increase the value of the home. You know, that amount that you're spending, you have to decide which one is going to take precedence. So, you know, pre-listing or, you know, pre-inspections, you know, any of those types of things will help you. You know, definitely get with your local real estate expert. They can tell you the things that need to be done, you know, things that don't need to be done. No, that's basically what I got.
Thank you, Cody. Great points. And, you know, it's always a little bit more of a piece to the puzzle when we all talk here, you know, so because there's always there's so much information out there, and it's really just about giving them that, you know, sometimes it's just about perspective. So it's always great to have all of you guys' perspectives on this. And so we are going to go to the lending side really quick, which is a very integral part of it all, because most homes are done through a loan. And for the buyer, there are a lot of options. So Tony is going to take it away on the loan side, and I'm excited to hear what he has to add to this.
All right. Hey, everyone. Tony Garcia with CrossCountry Mortgage. The biggest thing to me, I want to piggyback a little off what everyone has said. Peter kind of touched on it to begin with, though, as well, on repair. So not going to lie, as a lender, telling you what to do as a seller and what your ROI and what you're going to yield off of it. Don't come to me for that. Go to one of these fantastic individuals, because I know nothing. Don't want to say know nothing, but I don't have the knowledge for that. That's where I'm not going to be a benefit to you. That's where you speak with your real estate professional on that stuff. So I get asked those questions often. Well, Tony, my realtor told me this. What do you think? Like, you listen to your realtor, because I have no clue. If you want to talk rates, talk to me. If you want to talk about what's going to help you out with that, I'm going to be guessing and doing what you're doing, Googling it, and don't do that either. That's why you go to the professional. So on that end, the one thing I did want to touch on with that, though, that has started to, I've seen some things happen recently, and Peter brought up a point about an aged roof of 18 years. I'll be honest, ran into a few recently that have some older roofs. Insurance is becoming a little more challenging to find on those roofs that are, you know, your shingled roofs that are 15 years and older. The premiums are going up. You need to be able to focus on that and know. So some of those facts of replacing a roof, I'll let the realtors here touch on this in the end. However, if you can't get insurance on a home, if you are a seller looking to sell your home, you are limiting yourself if people cannot insure that home. You're basically putting yourself in a cash offer situation, FHA and conventional. Either way, if you're financing that home, there is going to need to be coverage on that home. And a lot of times, even if they can get coverage, sometimes that coverage may be an absurd amount of money compared to what it would be with a new roof. So you can always work that into the cost with your realtor, but it could be a benefit to you there. As far as the lending side and as far as repairs on if you're purchasing a home, the one thing there, a lot of times there's certain things you can do, which is called, you know, an escrow holdback that may fix some things. The bigger things out there with limited inventory and a lot of homes needing actual repairs to make you move in, there are loan products out there as well that you can actually have those repairs done. So you have what's called renovation loans. There's 203K loans, which are an FHA kind of rehab. We actually at CrossCountry Mortgage, fortunately enough, we have dedicated teams for reno. So we have a simple renovation department that controls it all. I take the application up front. I continue to work to the buyers, but they work with the professionals. So a lot of people do get misconstrued with some of those that, hey, I want to repair, I want to do a reno loan. I want 60K for this reno and I want to do the repairs myself. Unfortunately, you cannot do the repairs yourself. It has to be done. If you're doing an FHA 203K loan, it has to be done by what's called a HUD-approved contractor, which HUD is basically who controls FHA. We have a panel and a list of those approved contractors in every area that we work in. So those are options there. When you are qualifying for that loan, however, if you're qualified for, let's say, $200,000 right now, and you're looking to do an FHA 203K with repairs, your loan amount and your purchase price is still going to be that 200K. So it's not like you can find a home for 200K and add on 60K in repairs and your amount goes up to 260. That has to be included. So that's something, work with your local lender professional on that point and go there. But there's definitely options out there, especially with limited inventory right now with some of these homes. Brenda and Peter were speaking on it before we even went on live, and it was, man, these homes that need these repairs are selling quick. So if you can, when it comes to an FHA 203K rental loan, you don't need to wait till the repairs are done to close on the home. So, you know, it's not like we're going to be waiting 90 days to close. We can close, the repairs are done after, but it's just something to keep in mind that there are more options out there for yourself.
That's amazing information. And I'm glad that you touched on those reno loans, because that's something that I think a lot of people aren't aware of and just don't consider sometimes. Are you guys seeing a lot of those right now, or no, because of like how the market is, like how?
I'd be lying if I said yes. So I've had a couple, but it hasn't been too common either, because, you know, it's by the time they're up, they're gone. You know, it's crazy. There's no other way to put it besides we're going through some complete craziness.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was just curious, but it's valuable information no matter what, just in the sense of knowing that you can do that if you're prepared to purchase a home in the next year. So, I mean, we have a lot of people that are just thinking about it now. I mean, real estate's getting crazy here in Florida, so.
Yeah, but a lot of people back off. Even some of the homes we do know, some are sitting if there's extensive repairs needed, and some people just will be like, oh, too much work to be done. Well, if you're not doing the work and can get the loan, you can actually get the home you want in the price you want, and it's to your liking. You're picking out. So obviously you'll have to make adjustments just like anything else, but you can kind of design the house yourself at that point, and it can be beneficial. Just don't get too overboard with watching the HGTV rehabs, because, you know, it's not as smooth and easy as all that set out to be, but, you know, you can get things done.
You mean I don't just wave a wand and it's like, poof, done?
Yeah, and I wish that were the case. And I know the realtors do as well.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you so much, Tony. That was a great segment to go in, especially with the buyer's side of like what buyers should be expecting when they go into a home that might need a little bit of cosmetic repairs and such like that to make it to their liking. So we're going to go to Brenda. Excited to hear what you have to add.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Brenda Josaphat with Elite Realty Partners, and my colleagues have pretty much touched on everything that we've regarding repairs, yes or nay. I typically, in today's market, it's really hard to find a home that is move-in ready. So I prepare my buyers ahead of time and just advise them, and, you know, just put it out there. You may find a home that you may love, but you may have to possibly invest in rehabbing the home or making small repairs. So I just have a quick, I have 5 tips for them whenever we sit down and we meet. And I tell them to point out just some important things before we look at the homes. We want to make sure that if they do make repairs, that they're comfortable. Your home is your castle, so you want to feel comfortable and safe whenever you go home. So just remodeling and making a few improvements can make your home a blissful paradise. So you may no longer need that vacation away from home. Increasing space. I know finding something that has the square footage that you would prefer can be difficult and challenging at times, but don't be afraid to add a porch, to extend the add on an addition to the home, a family room. Don't be afraid to go into and making those repairs, moving some walls so that it doesn't feel as cramped. Energy efficiency. Peter touched on this earlier. You can save a lot of money by replacing some of your, adding the panels onto your home, making them energy efficient, replacing windows. Right now, especially with the hurricane impact windows, those are a great investment that you can put on your property, and you can yield when you do decide to sell. And maintenance, just looking for something that doesn't require too much maintenance. Easy to move in. You can make the touch-ups, you can make repairs. Sometimes painting a home makes it makes a lot of difference. And curb appeal. Just don't be afraid to don't be afraid to actually find a home that you may have to make repairs on, because again, in today's market, they are so rare to find. It's like finding a diamond. But that's it. My colleagues have touched on everything else. That's all I have to add.
Awesome. That was a great addition, Brenda. Thank you. And I think you brought up a good point, is expectations for everyone when buyers are going out there, and knowing, you know, when you get an inspection. I feel like the inspection portion of it all, like you see, oh, there's like something broken here, or an outlet that needs to be changed here, or whatever it might be. And it's like, sometimes people like see the little things add up and they're like, oh my God, like, look at all these little things that I need to do. And it's like, oh, this is going to be so much money. But it's like, if you really break it down, if you're talking with your realtor, they can say like, you know, this is only $5 at Home Depot. This is only this. And this is, you know, so those little things for buyers, don't be afraid if like when the inspection comes back, it says this little outlet needs, this plate needs to be changed, or this needs to be up to code. Talk with your real estate professional and talk about what that's going to cost. And if it's really something that you need to walk away from this house that has everything else that you want in it, but some little cosmetic things, the big things that you want to look at is the roof and the AC and those big ticket items in the home, and seeing how old the AC is and how much the roof is, because those are things that if they go bad in the next 5 years, you're gonna have to think, okay, in the next 5 years, am I ready to invest in a new AC? Am I ready to invest in a new roof? You know, and you guys can, we have our open forum now, if you guys want to talk on that, just in general about that.
Well, me personally, I think that if you have any of those major issues, you definitely need to sit back down at the negotiating table. It's, but on the same token, if you have a bunch of smaller like light switches that need to be replaced, or scratches on the walls, maybe a few baseboards missing, I mean, as long as it's not dangerous, you should really think about maybe overlooking some of those repairs. I mean, quite honestly, I've sat down outside of the seller and negotiated doing repairs between me and my buyer clients, just so that we can make sure to get to the closing table, especially because I know that they're not that costly, just to kind of show them, hey, listen, it's not that costly. I could, if you really wanted, I can go out and get you your light switches, or I can go out and I can get you that little bit of paint that's going to fix up that scratch on the wall. That's not a problem. And 9 times out of 10, my client will be like, oh, you know what? If you think that, then I'll overlook it. It's not that big of a deal. You have to really put it in perspective. I know it's overwhelming. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. We get it. But do not forego hundreds of thousands of dollars for $20. It's not, not worth it.
100%.
You know, just to add on to that, you know, they also need to be aware of the market, because that same situation happened to me. A front door was going to stop a sale. The first quote that he got was from some place out in Fort Lauderdale. They were going to charge him like $1,600 for a front door, when I could have gotten it done for a third of that. So you want to be realistic, get realistic quotes. You know, don't just take any unrealistic quote.
Absolutely. And working with your local real estate professional, they can help you with that, because, you know, it's always easy to go and find those quotes, and you can always find something that's going to be way more expensive. But if you use local, you know, especially here in our area, pretty much as soon as you hit Jupiter, it's more expensive, okay? Jupiter South is more expensive, no matter what you're doing. Whether you're just walking down the road, they're gonna start, no, I'm just kidding, but it's more expensive. So here in our area, it's very affordable. And if you're using local venues and local, like for instance, Brenda brought up impact windows. So using a quality, there's so many impact window places, and like we have O'Donnell Impact Windows locally, who is amazing. They have great ethics, they're a great company locally, and they are not going to BS you. Like some of those places down south, they'll say, oh yeah, it's this much, and then they're doing a shoddy job at your house, and that's your investment. That is your investment that you guys are trying to improve. So make sure that you guys just work with your local professionals on that, and that's what we're all here for, to really. Katie, you got something?
Yeah, the added advantage of using someone local, if they're referred to you by your real estate professional, they've been vetted. They've probably either done work for me or done work for other buyers and sellers that we work with, or other transactions in our office. So we have what we call the source of resources in our office. We've got a spreadsheet and a book of something for everything in the house. You need a plumber, you need a roofer, you need a refrigerator repairman, you need a handyman, you need an electrician. We have people, more than one, usually we have like 3 or 4 that we have vetted through using their services, and we provide that information to you. So not only you're getting a good resource, you're getting someone who's vetted, and will do the job right, and has, we have had a successful result with that referral that we're giving to you. We're not just pulling it off of Google and sending you a screenshot.
Absolutely. And it really goes to show too, our area here is very connected. It is very small town vibes. Even though it's growing, it's very small. Like, I've lived here my entire life, and everybody who knows everybody type of thing. People care about their reputations here. If you're using someone local, and if they do a bad job for you, it's gonna get around. So there's more on them to actually do a good job, because it's not, this is their reputation. If you're using someone down south and they do a bad job, they don't care. They have, it's just the same thing as we talked about before with the online vendors or online, mortgage company, whatever, no, use local, because all of us on here today, we give our time to make sure that you guys are educated. We care about our reputations here, but we also care about you. Like, we care about our community. We want to make sure that everybody who we're dealing with, that you guys aren't getting screwed in the end, because that's, nobody wants that. We want to protect you guys and make sure that you guys are taken care of going down the road. And I know that the local professionals on here today, they care about their clients, and you guys are doing you guys become friends with your clients. Like, it's like this whole process, like, you guys are wearing multiple hats, helping them through a huge portion of their life. And, it's not something to just throw to the wolves type of thing. You want to have good people on your side, a good team. We've talked about that before. Is there any last?
Not only are we the source of resources, but we're also, if you remember, I've said this before, we are like the emotional steward through for some people, this is the largest financial investment of their life at the time. So there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of emotions involved, whether there's stress, excitement, disappointment, you name it. We've seen it. We can help you through the process. Trust your real estate local expert.
Absolutely. Anyone else have anything last minute? Go,
I have a quick one. So when it comes to, everybody touched on the minor issues of, some outlets that aren't working, not functioning, some fuses or some loose wires, things like that. Another thing to keep in mind, when it comes to inspections and appraisals, a lot of those items may need fixed as well. So on our end, when it comes to the lending side, unfortunately, it's up to an appraisal. A lot of people think that the lenders control the appraisal. That is not the case at all. I get that misconception often, and it's a management company that handles it, and they don't even, the appraiser doesn't work for them either. They're their own, and they have to come out, and until that's back. But the biggest thing, depending on what type of loan, obviously everybody says, VA, FHA are a little more, strict in what they look. In the end, what it really is, it's health and safety. If you can look at something and it's going to be a safety issue in some way, say a cracked window, something like that, or exposed wiring, loose wiring, those things are going to come up. So it's best that, if your agent is telling you on the front end, hey, let's just get these fixed now, it's not worth fighting with them. It's out of their control. It's out of the lender's control. It's on the appraiser. And those aren't things like an appraiser's not going to see. They are also a licensed professional. Their license is on the line to find those things. So those are just some things to keep in mind as well.
And wood rot is a really good example of that too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And there are those key things when you're talking with your real estate professional. You're going to hear about those core aspects of the home that have to be in order for that you should be considering. But you know, when we talk, I've just heard of some deals where like people get really overwhelmed with those home inspections. Just make sure that you guys are going over that and talking about those costs like we talked about earlier. Great information, guys. And I do want to say, you know, if you guys missed this conversation, if you're just tuning in live now, this was a great one. So you can always watch the replay here on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel, Arrow Title Services. If you are a realtor or a lender, you're welcome to join us every week too. We'd love to have you on and have your input. So we are going to go into, because this is Thursday's Top Tips in Real Estate, we're going to talk about your #1 top tip of the week. So Peter, what is your #1 top tip of the week in real estate today?
My #1 top tip of the week would have to be, do not expect perfection the way the market is right now. Do not expect, and I'm talking about buyers who do not have the luxury of wasting time. When you walk into a home and you think that maybe you should be nitpicking about small, really, really small little things, what you don't understand is that on the other side of the deal, not having to do with you, there's 20 other buyers who don't care about what you're looking at right now. They really don't. Now, also, if you do walk into a home and it's everything that you want in that home, expect to pay for it right now. Don't think that you're gonna come in and haggle on a home that looks amazing. It's not worth the time. Most realtors won't even waste their time trying to have that conversation with the selling side. So if the home looks amazing, give it that amazing price. And if it's a little nitpicky and there's some things that are wrong with it, don't think that you're gonna get $50,000 off of the listing price.
I've heard of stories. It's crazy. You know, it's funny you mentioned that because people think that, oh, well, of course I wouldn't do that. People are doing it. People are trying. Great advice, Peter. Oh. All right, Katey, what's your top tip?
Katey Bourgeois with the Bourgeois Real Estate Group. Again, you know, I've said it before and I'll keep saying it. Trust your local real estate expert. Trust them, call them first. Trust them to give you the best information. You can confirm it by doing online searches and this, that, and the other, talking to other real estate professionals. But once you find a realtor that you trust, be loyal to them as well. They are working day and night to probably find you a diamond in the rough, so to speak, in a very competitive market. Trust your realtor, trust the process. You know, go with somebody who's walking you through the entire process step by step. And please, please, please make sure they're a local expert. There are a lot of hangups that can happen if you don't know what to look for as far as challenges like we were saying wood rot and an old roof. We can identify those things. We know what to look for. This is what we do every day. A Google search is not going to help you. You need a good expert in real estate. So trust your local realtor. Anyone on this call could help you.
Awesome. No, great advice. As
don't
always.
Wait.
You guys always
Please don't wait.
Yes.
don't wait.
Don't wait. Love it. Cody, what's your top tip of the week?
Codi with Bourgeois Real Estate Group. Mine is kind of twofold. For those people who don't feel like they need a realtor, you need a realtor. There's so many caveats and so many things that your realtor can handle for you that you probably cannot. And I would say do a little research. You know, what a realtor is supposed to do and the level of integrity that they're supposed to have, that standard that they're held to. And, you know, when you choose one, take a look at the work ethic. And if the work ethic reflects what, you know, those standards that you've read about, you know, trust that person. You know, we're here for you to do all the legwork for you, all the things that you wouldn't know to do or wouldn't have time to do. You know, we're your source of resources. You know, we know how to negotiate. We know what to look for. We know what to expect. We know the market. So trust your local realtor. Find one that has good work ethic. and one that will work for you, because your best interest is our duty. So that would be my top tip.
Great tips, Cody. And we did a video on that a few weeks ago, interviewing your real estate professional. You guys can go to the Arrow Title Services YouTube channel and go watch it, because these local professionals, again, they're coming on here every week to educate you guys, and they even educated on you on the questions you should be asking and what you should be expecting from your realtor. So take their advice. Like, it's not it's good information. I just can't say it enough. And to your point as well, Cody, when it comes to no, I just blanked, just kidding. Anyways, brain just farted. It's all right, cool. Tony, go ahead. What is your top tip of the week from the mortgage side?
From the mortgage side, I'm going to say be diligent and be prepared. So as we discussed, came up in topic last week. I'll be honest with you, I'm going to be doing a video myself and putting it out kind of directly on this, but the importance of truly being pre-approved compared to pre-qualified. Don't get me wrong. We know it's a hot market. I happen to oftentimes get people on Saturday, Sunday. Tony, I need a pre-approval letter right now. Okay, I have no issues. I oftentimes I am available and able to run it. However, okay, let me put this in two ways. Is it as easy to run credit and send out a pre-approval? Yes, it is. We can do it within 30 minutes if we want. However, is that really a pre-approval, or is it a letter just going off of what was stated, and then you're going to run into issues down the road? So, be prepared before you're out looking, because if you happen to find this home that is the home you want, and your realtor's like, hey, I can't put an offer without a pre-approval letter, rushing a pre-approval letter and getting a lender that's just going to give it to you on the spot without doing any of the legwork, you're going to run into issues. It's going to happen. Right now, I know Katey brought it up last week on some of the delays of lenders. I promise you again, no lender, local or online, does not want to close your deal. We do, and it's a crazy market. I mean, the mortgage world right now is the busiest it has ever been in the history of doing mortgages. With the rates on purchases, obviously you see how limited it is right now in inventory. So that means purchases are at an all-time high, as well as if we're looking at refis, right now refinances are at an all-time high. Unfortunate part, nobody was expecting this with COVID. COVID, I know everybody hates to hear the word and how it's affected the business, but there is truth to the matter. It affected it. All this business is coming, and there's also people that still aren't back to work, possibly by their choice, but still a lot of these places, when it comes to the lending side, there's so much behind the scenes that has to get done, even outside of title, insurance, things like that. Oftentimes what you have, we got to verify employment. There's a lot of places that the verification of employment is done online. The verification of employment is not done at that local hub center, but maybe in another state. Well, some of these companies are still half-staffed. So waiting on a verification of employment that typically takes 48 to 72 hours, sometimes it's taking 7 to 10 days. So being prepared on the front end is critical. And I know everybody wants that instant gratification of, hey, you can't give me a pre-approval letter right now. You're going to save yourself so much headache in the back end, and you're going to have a smoother process. And a lot of stuff that I am seeing and hearing, because I get some deals on, hey, Tony, this person can't close. I'm having this issue. Can you help? And I'm like, well, we waited 3 weeks now, so I don't know how good the help is, because I can't close in a week. I ain't lying to nobody. But at the same time, it's what happens on the front end that ends up being the issue. So having that patience and due diligence when a loan officer takes your initial application and says, hey, I need these documents back before I can generate your pre-approval, get those documents back. Because unless you're a salary employee and you've been there for long term, that's cut and dry, what they call a vanilla deal. 90% of loans aren't vanilla. There's overtime included, everything else, and it just doesn't happen. And without pay stubs, without W-2s, it's impossible to know. So be diligent, get that stuff back, because if you want to put in an offer, you're going to have a much better experience throughout if you do your job on the front end. And again, as I always pitch, we're all on the same team in the end, every single one of us. Listing agent, buyer's agent, realtor, loan officer, and the client. That's all I got to say.
Great tips, Tony. You just always kick. How are we supposed to top that? All right, cool. I remember what I was going to say, by the way. But I'll let Brenda go first, and then I'll say my part. So Brenda, what's your top tip of the week?
My top tip to buyers, since I primarily work with buyers, is to buy what you can afford. There are lots of homes out there that are overpriced sometimes. The market isn't buyer friendly. So if there's something that requires you to put some work into it, you may have to renovate, rehab the property, take that into consideration, but please do not go over budget. We don't want to find you don't want to find yourself in a predicament where you now are first forced to sell, or you may potentially lose your home because you didn't purchase what you could afford. So that's my number one tip.
Great tip. Great tip. All right, guys, you guys always come with some amazing tips, and I have one to add as well. And I think a lot of people get misconstrued with this because they're not in the real estate industry every day. And it's something I think we sometimes forget to mention. But I feel like a lot of people, when they get a bad experience with one realtor, that doesn't speak for all of them. And if you're on the buying side of the transaction, you don't pay for the realtor. The seller does. A lot of people don't get that. They think if they're a buyer, they're the ones paying for the realtor, and that's not the case. The seller is paying for realtors to show their home. So I think a lot of people don't think of it like that. They don't break it down like that in their heads. So if you guys are worried about, we've told you how you can find a good realtor, what to look for when you're getting a realtor, and of course any of the amazing realtors on here, you guys can reach out to them. Their contact information is in the description of this video. But it's free to you to use a professional. So why aren't you using it? Why would you opt out of it? Why? Just if it's free to you, there's not many things in life that are free, okay? So that's just my input is, I think a lot of people get misconstrued with that, especially if they're first-time home buyers and they just don't understand, and they think that they can get all the information online, which you can get a lot of information online, don't get me wrong, but local professional, we've talked about in this video. If you're just tuning in now, rewatch it because there's such value, and you can see just the value that they're bringing to you every week on these Thursdays top tips in real estate. Just imagine what wealth of knowledge they got on other things. So thank you guys so much for coming on and sharing your brains every week. We do go live for Thursdays top tips in real estate every week at 2 p.m. Does anybody have any announcements that they need to make for this week?
When you open that up,
You want to take it away, Katey, or should I? Today, 6 p.m., we will be at 1610 Southwest Sunset Trail. It's a 3-2 in Palm City that is up for auction, being sold as is. Just got to show about $25K liquid in order to register the bid. But it is there. It is a nice house. It has a pool. It's in a great area, close to everything, shopping, highways. So we'll be there at 6 p.m. helping the auctioneers out with that home. You can look at any one of our pages and get the information, or go to
Associate Auctions, their Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, Associate Auctions has their own Facebook
Associate
page
Auctions,
too. So
right.
yeah, they're awesome.
Let my mind for a minute. I do apologize. I'm, as a realtor, I am multitasking here, so forgive me, but that's what we do.
Hey, that's all right. We're all helping each other out. Like Tony said, we're all on the same team here. Does anybody else have any announcements they'd like to make?
This Saturday at 6083 Northwest East DeVille Circle in Torino area of Port St. Lucie, I will be holding a showing for Grand Realty, or Grand Construction, I apologize. If anybody wants to come by between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. to come talk about your new construction home, I'll be there with my wealth of knowledge.
Love it. And Grand Construction's awesome.
Yes, amazing. It's going to be
I love their
the
homes.
award-winning Tortuga model that will be standing in that day.
It's beautiful. Katey?
Hey, in addition to the auction tonight with Associate Auctions in Palm City, this Sunday, we will have an open house, or excuse me, yes, there's an open house coming up at our listing at 215 Flagler Avenue. It is a condominium at the Harborage, number 401, with a new price of $225. You can come out and talk to Jennifer. That is her listing, Jennifer Romero, realtor with Bourgeois Real Estate Group, and we're out there working with buyers and sellers. If there are any sellers on the fence, I hope that you are paying attention to these wonderful, amazing local individuals, in addition to Lucie's wealth of knowledge. call us.
Call us, we're here for you. Anybody else? Tony, Brenda, no? Go. All righty, guys. So as I did say, we do go live every Thursday at 2 p.m. for Thursday's Top Tips in Real Estate. We hope you guys valued this information. You can always watch the replay on our YouTube channel. I'm so thankful for the amazing professionals that come on here. And if you are a professional as well, in a realtor or a lender, you are welcome to join us each week and come on. Just send me a message. Happy to have you. And yeah, and we also have our market update Monday, every Monday at 2 p.m. as well. 2 p.m. It's easy. It's 2 p.m. on Mondays and Thursdays. Just be here, be square. Okay, guys? All right. We will see you guys next week. Thank you so much to everybody on here. Really, really appreciate you guys. And these local professionals, reach out to them. They're awesome. Okay. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Thank you, Lucy.
Thanks, Lucy.